The Lincoln Wishlist sales event is happening now. Here's what's on everyone's wish list. Enjoying holiday jingles with brilliant 3D audio that surrounds you? Check. Watching snow flurries through the panoramic Vista roof? Check. Packing up presents with the spacious Lincoln Splitgate? Check. Everything you want. All standard on the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV. Visit your local Lincoln retailer or learn more at Lincoln.com for exceptional offers on 2025 Lincoln vehicles today.
BTW, FYI. Visit Nexplanon.com RN to learn about Nexplanon. It's an adjustable implant, 68 milligrams radiopaque. Or ask your HCP IRL. Okay, TTYL.
Museum of the Esoteric, the private library of shadows, all taking place in a world forged from mystery and caught between logic and myth. You are entering Parareality.
Good evening, seekers of the strange and the unexplained. Welcome to Parareality, a place where shadows whisper, mysteries linger, and the line between fact and the unknown grows razor thin. I'm Sandman, your guide through the hidden corridors of reality. Here, every question awakens a mystery, and every mystery pulls us deeper into the truth concealed in the shadows. Tonight, we step once again into the world where truth and mystery collide. Welcome back to Parareality. Last time, we started our journey through the stories I gathered at the Tennessee Wildman and Cryptid Con, and continued that with the West Kentucky Paranormal Expo. And tonight, we're finishing that journey where things get even stranger, darker, and more intense. Because that's what you're about to hear are the stories that linger, the ones that keep people from sleeping, the ones that change how you look at the world. Tonight's episode is focused entirely on the West Kentucky Paranormal Expo, and these final interviews include some of the most unsettling encounters I've heard in a long time. We've got stories of people who felt themselves being beckoned, almost pulled into another dimension. We've got voices speaking through Bluetooth speakers when no one else was around. We've got the ghost of Union soldiers from the Civil War still haunting the places they died. And we've got tales of demonic spirits that'll leave chills down your spine. Reports of dogman sightings stalking the backwoods. And even a few stories directly from paranormal investigation teams who've seen things that defy logic, science, and belief. These are real accounts from real people. Not folklore, not campfire stories, not fiction. As always, I can't tell you whether every detail is true, but what I can tell you is that every person you're about to hear believes what they experienced, and sometimes belief is where the truth begins. So, turn the lights down, settle in, and get ready for part 2. And as always, to learn more, you'll have to turn on, tune in, and find out. Now, before we get started into tonight's interviews, I want to take a moment to look back at the West Kentucky Paranormal Expo itself. This wasn't just your typical vendor table conference. The energy in that building was different. You had paranormal investigators, psychics, experiencers, skeptics, historians, cryptid researchers, demonologists, ghost hunters, and people who were simply looking for answers to experiences they can't explain. The air was thick with stories. Stories whispered. Stories guarded. Stories told only after someone felt safe enough to tell them. This expo reminded me that the paranormal isn't just about ghosts or cryptids or UFOs. It's about personal truth. Each person who shared their experience did so because something touched their life in a way that never fully left them. And tonight, you're going to hear some of those stories directly from the people who lived them. So let's get into the interviews. My first interview is with Alan, who shared a story from his childhood involving the Waterford Hotel in Pennsylvania. Now, while he was there, he encountered something that's truly was bizarre. A disembodied hand that appeared and motioned for him to follow it. And what happens next is something that simply does not fit into any logical framework. So let's hear Alan's story.
All right, everybody, I am here with Alan. Alan, this is the third time we've tried this. Technology is horrid.
It always breaks when you don't.
I know. It's almost like someone doesn't want you to tell this story like what you were saying.
It's possible. You never know.
So you have this great story about when you were a kid at a haunted location. And I know what the story is. This is the third time. But please tell everybody that listens to this podcast, tell us this story because this is such a cool story.
All right. Well, I was 8 years old, and I was going to a restaurant at the time, which is actually still a restaurant there, actually. I was with my grandparents, our grandmother, and her friend. Mm-hmm. And it was the Waterford Hotel in Pennsylvania.
Waterford Hotel, okay.
Yeah, in Waterford, Pennsylvania, too. So if you want an actual location.
Okay.
But we went in there. It used to be a place for the Underground Railroad.
Yes.
So it had a lot of history there. And one of the things they did is they actually had one of the rooms still made up, like in the old times, for us to explore and look at and just see what it was like in the time period. Me, of course, being 8 years old, I was more curious, but I wasn't really, history wasn't my thing.
Yeah, just a kid, yeah.
Of course. And anyway, after we got the tour from the waitress and everything, we went downstairs to order our food, and me being an 8-year-old decided, I wanted to go back up there and look. Mm-hmm. So my grandmother asked, if it was okay with the waitress, and I went upstairs on my own. Well, as I got upstairs, I went into the room. I checked under the bed, around the areas. I didn't touch anything because that was what I was told.
Yeah.
And eventually I ended up leaving the room. Now, when I looked down the hallway, I saw an eerie glow, and I couldn't make much out of it, so I started to walk toward it. It was like in another bedroom or off on the side. And I just suddenly saw a disembodied hand crawling out from underneath the door.
Underneath the door.
Underneath the door.
Okay.
And it was like beckoning toward me, telling me to go toward it.
I think I said this earlier, like the Scooby-Doo disembodied hand with a finger. Come here, yeah.
Yeah. And needless to say, I was frightened. I was scared stiff. Eventually, I couldn't go any further or anything like that, and eventually got the courage to run.
Frozen stiff, and then eventually
you wouldn't
run
think you'd be frozen stiff sometimes, but that was one of those moments I was.
Yeah.
And so I took off running, screaming like the little kid I was. I felt sorry for all the people there now that I think about it, but I wasn't thinking then. I told my grandmother, and then the waitress came over, tried to figure out what was wrong. We all went back upstairs. It wasn't there anymore, but neither was a set of doors.
Like one of the door, like where the hand was coming under, you think?
I think the doorway disappeared.
The whole thing, poof, gone.
Almost like part of the hallway didn't exist.
Wow. That's even, I think, more scary.
Yeah, I didn't understand it quite as a kid either,
Yeah.
and that's what I swear I saw.
Jeez. What would have happened if you would have just gone towards that finger with it? I mean, if you had gone through that door, where would you be now?
That is a good question, and I actually did try to look into this.
Mm-hmm.
And there are actually other situations. They actually said it was possibly a lesser demon.
Okay.
They say lesser because most real demons take on more of a human form.
Yeah.
They're not as scary. They're not going to create those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So a lesser one will seem more like a demon than anything else.
Okay.
The other thing I was told was if I went in there, I might not have come back.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
At least not as myself. I might have been like possessed or something else along those lines.
That's one thing, yeah. I was just thinking you just walk in there and you're just in another dimension or something somewhere, never to be seen or heard from again.
I don't know, but some people say it could be a possession. Some people could say that. Yeah, I don't really know. But all I know is I did take that moment. I paused and I ran. So
Good decision on your 8-year-old self.
yeah, and of course that kept me into the paranormal. So
Yeah,
that's why I
yeah.
became a ghost hunter, to try to see if I can find either something similar happen now that I know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But it is definitely an experience that left me for a long time.
Obviously, I can tell. Well, that's a great story. I really appreciate you taking the time, the third time, to try to tell me this story. And it looks like everything's working now. So, yeah, thank God. Because if it doesn't, we're not doing a fourth one. This third time's a charm. This is going to be fun.
I don't mind. I'm here all day. So
Me too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
What I love about Alan's story is that it wasn't just visual. There's an element of intention. Something wasn't just there to be seen. It wanted him to come with it. And when we talk about the paranormal, that's the part that genuinely unnerves me. Intelligent interaction. That raises questions about motives, and dimensions, and who or what is reaching out to us. All right, well, before we continue with the rest of the interviews, unfortunately, I have to do this.
BTW, FYI. Visit Nexplanon.com RN to learn about Nexplanon. It's an adjustral implant, 68 milligrams radiopaque. Or ask your HCP IRL. Okay, TTYL.
Welcome back, everybody. Next up is Christy, who works at the historic Glen House in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. This is a beautifully preserved Victorian home that was built in 1883, and it's well known for its hauntings. One day while she was working, Christy heard a disembodied voice speak through her Bluetooth speaker when no one else was around. Let's hear what happened.
All right. I have got Christy here at the West Kentucky Paranormal Expo, and she is with the Glen House.
Yep. So we're kind of a non-traditional booth holder here at the Paranormal Exposition.
Me too.
We are really just a house museum, a Victorian house museum in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, about an hour and 20 minutes from where we're at here today. And we're not a haunted attraction. We really are not in the business of ghost stories, but sometimes when you are haunted, you get kind of infamous for that, just as
Market
you are.
that, baby.
We are, yeah. And you know what's interesting? The Glen House has been a house museum since 1974, and the ghost stories go all the way back. They've always been a part of Cape Girardeau's culture for a long time. People in these very traditional museum settings, they just didn't talk about it. But with ghost hunters and some of the paranormal pop culture that's come along, it's become a little more acceptable to talk about it.
It has.
And it's part of the history of the house now as well. So we would be sort of not doing our jobs if we didn't address the elephant
That's
in the
one
room.
of the things that I like about places such as yours is, I mean, that's not your claim to fame necessarily,
No.
but it is part of the history. So I'm glad to see that you're embracing it.
Well, I mean, I think that obviously our culture has changed a lot. The
Tremendously.
visitors and tourists that come to our communities are changing.
Yes.
And ghost stories are also another kind of history. They are a different way of storytelling. And I think they're also important as a part of the cultural whole of these locations. So
Very
it's
well
an
said.
Interesting
Yeah.
thing. But we've done all the major TV shows, and so
I
if,
see
if
you're on
somebody,
Ghost Hunters. I
Yeah.
probably saw that episode.
I sort of say if someone goes out and they Google the Glen House Cape Girardeau, you'll find everything. We've got a Scare Network documentary that's dropping, I think, October 3rd, which
Wow.
is what brought me here. There's a couple of specials on Amazon Prime. There's some stuff on Netflix. So it's easy to find the ghost stories. What's funny to me is I am an academic. I've worked in higher education for 27 years. I'm not a ghost storyteller. I'm actually phobically afraid of the dark. I just happen to be the board president of this house and have
Congratulations.
inherited that. Thanks. And so over my time working with the house, it doesn't really matter if you believe in ghosts. They seem to believe in us sometimes.
Right.
And so my sort of journey to believing, I told ghost stories as a vehicle to get people interested in history. Never thought I would become part of the evolution of stories.
Right. Yeah.
Or that I would be sitting across from someone like you saying, hey, I've got a recent story
Yes, I
and
know, I
a
wanna hear
video
it.
that I'll share
Yes.
so that you've got it if your listeners are interested.
Absolutely.
So about a month ago, so we're sitting here at the end of September. The weather's been really hot in Missouri, in southeast Missouri.
Everywhere.
And we finally had a break in that weather, and we had a pretty weekend. I was at the house by myself on a Saturday. We're usually open for tours from 1 to 4. And so I came in, and I thought, well, we'll probably be slow today because it's pretty and people are going to be out
Yeah,
enjoying
doing
this
stuff, yeah.
beautiful weather. Anyway, so I opened up the house, the front and the back and the side doors, which let more sunlight in than we'd seen in a while because we'd had the window units running for a while. And when you open up an old house like that and the sunlight comes in, you start to see the dust and the cobwebs that have accumulated.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, if I'm going to be slow, this will be a good day to clean.
Good cleaning day.
So I went out to the carriage house and grabbed my Bluetooth speaker. And I came in and I turned on some music to clean with. And I got the broom and started kind of cleaning the chandeliers. And everything was fine. And all of a sudden I hear the speaker go do-do-do-do-do and turn off. And I thought, well, I know I have it plugged in. I must not have connected the little plug to the Bluetooth, And so I turned around. I was going to go check it. And the music came back on. And I thought, okay, well, it blipped or something, Pretty soon I hear it do-do-do-do-do, and it goes off again. And then in the quiet of the house, I hear help come through the speaker. And I thought, I did not just hear that.
Through the Bluetooth speaker.
Through the Bluetooth speaker. I thought, I didn't just hear that. I know I didn't. And so I finished because I was looking up and, the crystal and stuff on the chandelier. I didn't want to break anything. And I put the broom down and I started to walk in toward the speaker. And I heard do-do-do-do-do again. And as I walked through the doorway, it clearly said off on the speaker. And I walked over and I looked. It was plugged in, but I unhooked it, rehooked it, and I turned the music back on. And as I turned around to walk off again, I hear do-do-do-do-do. Help.
Oh.
So I turned around as I backed toward the front door because at that point I was done cleaning and also done being in the house. And I grabbed my phone off the front because I was going to go out on the front porch. And I thought, I'm going to video this on the off chance that it does it again. So I turned my video on as I'm backing toward the door, and it did it one more time. So I have a very short clip. You can see the speaker. The speaker says off. You can hear it as it cycles through. Now, the speaker will speak as it turns on and off. It says, please charge, the battery is low. And I don't think it should say other words like, I don't know, help. And I'd be interested if the listeners to your podcast hear other words. I mean, hear anything else, I'll gladly share that. I've shared it with some friends who work in local radio. They're interested. They've got the serial number for the speaker. They're going to investigate if there's any, way that somebody can hack the speaker, and they're going to take the audio file apart. But, I am a chicken, so I tell people all the time, I'm never going to manufacture anything because I get I get freaked out enough
I
by
understand.
things that happen. But that's probably one of the stranger things that's happened to me in the last 10 to 15 years with the house, and it's a good one, and it's got a neat clip that you can see what you think it's saying if you hear help as clearly as I do.
Yeah, let's play that.
So here, I can play it for you.
If you don't mind.
No,
Just
absolutely
hold
not.
that.
Let
Hold
me-
that up nice
mean-
and close to the microphone, and
Oh, is it rebooted? Here, let me get back into that file. And I'll give you the exact date because I can look. I
That's
actually
interesting.
posted on social media to say, hey, I don't know what you think about this stuff, but please tell. So it was August 30th. And when I originally posted it, I was so rattled I forgot to put context. And a couple of people, because we have paranormal groups that come in, they thought it was a spirit box. And I said, no, it's just the regular Bluetooth speaker we use. So here you go.
wow, play that one more. Put it in front of the mic there. There you go. That's better. Wow.
You can see that the speaker says it's off, and you can see the
It
cord
does
that it's
flashing
plugged in.
off. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I'm honestly hoping that someone comes up with a really good explanation, because I still, even after doing all this stuff, I'll tell you my stories, but I'm always hoping that someone's got an explanation. But I tell people all the time, I think when you come to the belief that there might be things we still don't understand, it's when your explanations for things get crazier than just saying, well, I think this house might be haunted. So that's where I am after all these years. I truly think I love the Glen House. I love the historical value, the cultural value, but I truly think the house might just be haunted.
You may be onto something there.
I may be. So
Do you open it up to paranormal investigations? Have you considered it?
we do. So if you reach out to the house, we take consideration of all paranormal investigators, because we are a house museum. We have a code of conduct. We're pretty specific about what you can and can't do. But if you're willing to follow those rules, again, we're kind of embracing. There's a great book. It's the Anarchist Guide to Historic Preservation, and so engaging folks isn't just about Victorian tea parties and traditional tours. It's also about, if this is what you're interested in, we're a 501c3. We hold that house in trust for the community at large, and groups like this are part of the community at large. And so we're interested. We're interested in what they find and see, and we're interested in learning about the house in the same way everyone else is.
Do you let the paranormal investigation groups, do you let them do it for free, or do you charge them a fee?
Well, we ask for a donation. So, and so I try not to set, and we as a board have talked about this, we try not to set super rigid fees. Folks in larger metropolitan areas are used to paying $500. Gosh, if I said something like that down here, people would have a small conniption because they just can't afford it. So we don't ever want to price anyone out. I usually ask, based on the size of the group, that they try to throw in $25 or so a person and make a donation to the museum, and then we try and work with you.
That's very reasonable.
Yeah.
Very reasonable.
So-
Because so many places, like where you're talking about, they charge like $500, $600, $700.
Yeah.
I've even heard of people charging upwards of $1,000 to do an investigation at their property. And I mean, I get it. Everybody's got to earn a living. I understand that, but that just seems like a lot.
I think in my experience after years of sort of doing this, we have had groups that have been extremely generous. A lot of times groups that will come in will then do benefits and things for us because they have memories and experiences there. And so maybe it's only $75, $150 on the front end, but the give back down the road from that and the interest that it generates. And then a lot of times people may come in our door interested in the ghost, but again, a ghost story is just another way to tell a historical story, especially if you're doing all that research. Yeah. So I look at it as a gateway drug, to use an old Nancy Reagan phrase, to getting people interested. So
Well, that's a great philosophy to have, and that's a really good story. I really appreciate it. And we're talking about the Glen House with 2 N's.
Yeah, with 2 N's,
As seen on Ghost Hunters.
www.glenhouse.org, or you can find us on Facebook, social media, and you should come and do a podcast from a haunted location.
You're reading my mind.
That'd be a blast. We'd have
You
so much
are
fun.
reading my mind. So the Glen House. Tell the website again.
So the easy way to find the website, it's just glenhouse.org.
Glenhouse.org, and that's with 2 N's.
It's with 2 N's. That's an important distinction. Or
Yes.
if you just do a generalized Google search of Glen House in Cape Girardeau, even if you do 1 N, you're going to find us. There is a ton of content. I say we are a content-rich house. And honestly, so many of the paranormal investigators, we have a university where I work in Cape Girardeau, and our historic preservation students do a lot of research, but some of the paranormal groups that come write papers that would make any senior level historic preservation student happy too.
Nice.
There's a lot of research that goes into this.
Nice.
So.
Well, thank you for telling me the story. That's a
Thank
wonderful
you.
story.
I hope you enjoy it, and I'll share the video with you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
This is one of those stories that gets under your skin because technology shouldn't be able to do that. When a voice comes through a speaker without a source, that suggests we're dealing with something manipulating the environment, not just residual energy. That's a deliberate action. Now, our next story comes from Chris, who encountered what appeared to be the spirit of a Union soldier from the Civil War, walking straight through a cemetery, kind of like he was still on patrol. Here's Chris's account.
Chris, thanks for agreeing to tell me your story of the weird. What's going on? Tell me your story.
All right. Well, this was a long time ago when I used to work at a cemetery back in Nashville,
Ooh.
Tennessee, where I'm originally from.
Uh-huh.
And I actually have 2 separate stories, but they're both from the same. I used to work
Okay.
at this place called Spring Hill Cemetery in Nashville, Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
And, so on opposite sides of our main street, we have a veteran cemetery, and then we have the original cemetery itself. And I think I'll start off. I got called to check out this strange person that's been seen wandering around our veterans, the property where our veterans are buried at, like every night. So I'm out there and I'm investigating. I'm trying to see at the location. So there were 2 separate locations out there. One was by one of our main highways, and the other one was closer to a mausoleum we have, mostly in the center, but towards the back, like dark part of our cemetery.
Oh.
And so I'm out there trying to investigate, and I start hearing what sounded like, I don't know if it was grunting or coughing, but I start to get a little bit closer, and I see this very old gentleman that's like Civil War type soldier era.
Wearing Civil War type uniform?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Was he Confederate or Union? Do you know?
I'm kind of confused the two, but it was like all just like dark blue.
Okay, that would have been a Union.
Yeah,
Okay.
Union. So, and I'm trying to call out, sir, is everything okay? I'm just trying to let them know that our cemetery is closed, 'cause we have a certain time where we're closed. So,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to call out to him, trying to get his attention, and absolutely nothing. So I'm trying to get a little closer because, this man looks kind of elderly, so maybe he has, some hearing issues.
Yeah.
And I get about as close as from like this table to where the end of your other table is right there.
Okay.
And
6 or 8 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 or 8 feet, and I'm trying to get his attention. And he turns around. He has, and I swear, it's like he could be an actual person. But he was somewhat transparent because I could see the wall, like, through him.
Oh, yeah.
But his face was crystal clear, as if I was seeing your face now. Like,
Yeah.
no eyes whatsoever, just withered, leather, mummified like skin
Oh.
in the
that's
face.
creepy,
And
dude.
very creepy. I'm like, sir, you can't be here, and all this stuff. And I'm trying to get him to leave, and he just stares at me, like stares directly in my soul. And I am completely frozen, like I am unable to move. I am unable to speak. So I closed my eyes for a brief second, and as soon as I opened them up, it's gone. And next thing I know, I can actually move.
That's good.
So I hightailed it out of there. And my second story is at the same cemetery, but it's on our main plot, and it's kind of close to the back, another dark section of our cemetery, where we have a massive, I think, cedar or oak tree that's probably about 10, 15
Wow, yeah.
in diameter.
Huge,
It's
yeah.
pretty huge. So, because it was very close to closing time.
Okay.
And I was overhearing a couple trying to make a complaint about seeing what looked like a little child, or hearing a little child crying, running around or whatever. So my supervisor was like, can you go check that out for me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I'm making my way out there with my flashlight. And
This is at night?
yes.
Oh.
Yeah, we closed at like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Okay.
So, and it was like very, very dark, very cloudy, because it had just rained just shortly before. So, and I'm out there trying to, I'm just looking and looking. I got my flashlight searching, and I start hearing what can be made out as either a little bit of giggling or crying, like a whining type of sound. And I notice it's coming from our very large tree. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's coming from around the side. So I walk around the tree, and I see this little girl, and I swear it was like as clear as day, just slightly tattered white, a pretty low white church dress with a little bit of frills on the bottom, and kind of, it's no sleeves, but like frills on the straps, with curly blonde hair, pigtails, and with a blue bow on one side, a red bow on the other. And
that's weird.
so, I get a little bit closer, but I'm also staying cautious. Trying to get her attention, asking her if she was okay. I'm just trying to let her know that, we're closing and we can't have any children around here. Unsupervised, we can't have anybody here after hours. And out of nowhere, she just starts giggling, like those creepy little giggles you would hear, like straight out of a horror movie. Just real creepy, like, and it just gets my hair standing straight on end. And
time to get out of there.
Yeah, I'm like, kid, look, you really can't be here after hours. We're closing and it's not safe. Come on, let me help you find your parents. And so I'm about to place my hand on her shoulder. My hand goes straight through her. I'm like, oh shit. Next thing I know, this little girl turns around, no eyeballs, just empty sockets, streams of blood, like tears coming out of her eyes as if she was crying. Blood. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And like,
go.
as soon as I got back to my supervisor, I let him know what I found, and of course, I had showed him the video of the camera I had back then, and I also put in my 2 weeks notice. So
that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, and that was, this was like just before I started to like the whole paranormal and like the whole ghosts and all this sort of
that'll
stuff.
get you into it.
Yeah, it definitely got me interested though.
Yeah.
And since then I've just been a big fan of the paranormal, and I've been trying to take as many tours, like we have haunted tours all over Nashville. And it's just been fascinating me ever since. And it's like 15, 20 years ago.
Wow. Well, I'm probably Nashville's one of Nashville's best kept paranormal secrets, because I've been doing my podcast out of Nashville for years.
Oh, okay.
But I
Very good.
intentionally keep it small. So thank you for sitting down and telling me those great stories,
well, thank you
man.
for having me.
That's some scary stuff,
Yeah.
man. I don't blame you for putting in your 2-week notice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and this is
Yeah.
actually my first ever podcast too.
Oh,
So,
well, I'll
this-
be sure and email you so you know when the episode drops.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's quite the experience, man. Thank you.
I always say history doesn't stay in the past if the people who lived it never truly left. When you see a spirit in motion and like it has purpose, that's not a repeating thing. It's not a ghost that's trapped. It's a ghost that's still living its reality. Now, we're talking to Mark from Night Vision Paranormal, my good friends at the Night Vision Paranormal team. Mark leads their cryptid division, and he brings a background in law enforcement and investigation. He was an investigator with the law enforcement. And his story about the dog man of the Land Between the Lakes is a great one. It's very interesting. It's pretty detailed, and I find it to be one of the more credible accounts that I've come across. So here's Mark.
And you have an interesting dog man story, I understand.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, well, dog man is one of my favorite topics.
Mine too.
So I'd love to hear your story.
All right. So I live 15 minutes away from the north entrance of LBL, so I'm in there all the time. The rest of my group, Night Vision Paranormal, we all work together when we go on ghost hunts and such, and they come along and kind of tolerate me on the cryptid stuff. So a lot of times they've got kids and soccer and church, and they've got so many things going on. So a lot of times I end up going by myself up to LBL. Been up there steadily for the last 2 years. I grew up in this area. I didn't hunt, but I fished and hiked and swam, camped, all that in LBL for most of my life. Never saw a thing. Well, the beast of LBL comes up a lot, and that really piques my interest because it's practically in my backyard.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll have to go by myself. May 28th of this year, I decided to do something different than the normal driving through LBL and hiking through LBL. I decided to go by water this time to a known hot spot. The information came from Martin Groves, which I've met twice. And
Yes, I've met Martin. I went out to dinner
guy.
with Martin. So
We met him in Townsend,
Me too.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then again at the LBL Squatch Out just about 3 weeks ago. He was able to come by. Great guy.
He
But anyway,
is.
his stories and the location is what inspired me to go there. So I took my kayak, launched from a boat ramp very close by to the hot spot that he talks about a lot. And I'm seeing lots of normal wildlife, deer, raccoon, snakes, all the things that you would expect as I go along the paddle on Kentucky Lake along the shoreline, hoping to see something else. I took general pictures, landscape pictures and the snakes and everything because I'm into all kinds of wildlife. And didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. So I finish up, go back home, and I send the pictures to my daughter, Jill Winsett, who's the co-founder of Night Vision Paranormal, and she's scouring through every frame of the picture, because she's our technical person. And she sends back to me a picture that I had taken, zoomed in, and she said, "Oh my God, look what you got." So what it is a dark figure. What it appears to be are ears, a muzzle, and a shoulder of a black figure there. Which again, I didn't know anything at the time. So I'm all excited then, right? I got something without knowing it. 44 hours later, I go back, launch again on the kayak to this time with the phone that I took the original picture with and another camera, trying to estimate, and this is floating on Kentucky Lake, the distance and the angles from where I was. So I took a whole bunch of pictures this time.
So you knew like where you were when you captured that?
Yes, there's a there's a prominent feature there that I knew immediately where I had taken the picture.
Lucky.
But, I'm floating down Kentucky Lake, and it's really windy on the day that I go back, and I'm getting buffeted around. But I take a whole bunch of pictures, go back and send them to her. Well, once again, she's looking through, and there's a particular, what we call spiky tree on this rock face that you're able to match up the location. Well, on May 28th, there was a dark figure there that had appeared to have the features that I was talking about. On May 30th, less than 2 days later, there was nothing there.
Gone.
Okay? Nothing. So I can't tell you exactly what it is. I can tell you there was something there and then there wasn't something. So that was the first follow-up. Went back with the whole group. We hiked in this time, thinking we would be able to get down to this location. There's a ledge there that we believe this dark figure was standing on. It was so steep and hazardous, we could not make it.
Wow.
Okay? So what I say is that I don't think it was a hoax because, one, nobody knew I was going. Number two, it is hazardous to humans to get there without ropes. And number three, there's another reason that we're not disclosing because it's still an active investigation as to why we don't think there was going to be a person there.
Well, the first two are good enough.
They were very good.
As far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so that was the second follow-up, and we said, I've got to get ropes. And I've got a background in rope rescue, so I know exactly what it's going to take to get there. So since then, a week and a half ago, I went back again by kayak. I bought a drone specifically for this. I launched the drone from the river, the side of the lake there. Went straight up. Got some pictures. Now I'm brand new at droning. I got pictures of what I was looking for, but not exactly the angle that I want. So that was the third follow-up. I got those pictures. Our fourth follow-up is next month. The whole Night Vision Paranormal group is going to go back.
Nice.
I'm taking all the ropes. We're going to. My original idea was get down to that cliff when the whole group went. I had a measuring stick that I marked at 5, 6, 7, and 8 feet increments, and then a streamer at the top, which was 8 feet 2 inches. So I thought we'd be able to get down to this ledge. It didn't look that bad from the pictures until we got there. The idea was to put that there, go back in the kayak, come back, and get the comparison picture.
Yeah.
That couldn't happen. That's what's going to happen next month.
Okay.
So, something about Martin Groves on this. He at the Squatch Out. I had all these people they heard about the picture. They wanted to see it, and they're like, "Oh, this is great. This is great." Well, I got up the courage to show it to Martin Groves.
Yeah.
And I just said, if you want to know the whole story that I just told you, I'll be happy to tell you, but here's the picture. And he looks at it, and he doesn't say anything. And I wait, he still doesn't say anything, and I say, "What do you see anything?" And he said, "I see trees." And my heart sank, and I was ready to tuck my tail between my legs and walk away. And then he started laughing. And then Mike Smith, who was there too, he started laughing. So apparently this is how they get you, So afterwards he said, "Oh yeah, I see a muzzle, I see ears, I was like, "Oh, this is fantastic." So that's our ongoing investigation of what I believe is a dog man, but there's certainly a dark figure there on one day, and less than 2 days later was not.
Yeah, I've seen the picture, and it's very impressive. Yeah, there's something. It definitely looks like there is something there.
Now, could it be a bear? It could. Could it be something else? Of course, on our follow-ups, we made sure there wasn't a log, wasn't a stump, wasn't a cave. None of those things are there. The angle is not exactly the same because I'm on a kayak, but it's very close, and you can see the comparison between spiky tree.
Yeah.
So we got more to do on this. So.
Well, the thing that impresses me is one of the things that impresses me is the amount of effort that you are putting into doing follow-up on this, which is what I don't think enough people do.
Sure.
And when you do follow-up, he says, "Okay, let me go back one time." Okay, well, there you go. You got to do what you do. You got to do it multiple times. Yeah.
I retired after 37 years law enforcement, so I conducted it like like an investigation that
There
I
you
would
go.
have done on the
Yeah.
streets. I documented the weather conditions, the time of day specifically, the types of cameras that were used.
Yeah.
You know, other things are approximate, like the distance and the height up this rock face. But yes, and we're trying to debunk ourselves before we
Yeah.
put this out there.
Yeah.
We're not going to put anything out that's not 100% legitimate. So
Yeah.
there's something there, and then there's not. And I
Yeah.
don't know what it is, but I hope to find out.
Well, yeah, I hope you do too. And that's a very good, that's a great story. Speaking of Martin Groves, is that close to where he had his
Yes.
infamous encounter?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been to that. I actually took 2 groups during the Squatch Out to that location.
Okay.
Because I had that one figured out 100%. There were some other locations that I was not 100% on, and Mr. Groves was kind enough to give me more information. So I've been up there since, and I'll be back a whole lot more, because that's what I do now.
Well, thank you for sitting down and telling me the story. That is a really awesome story, and I hope that your follow-up, is this going to be your final follow-up investigation?
Well, I don't know about final. It'll be the next one. I did promise some other podcasts that I've been on that I will be most certainly keeping them up to date on the latest investigation findings, and I'll be happy to do the same with you, sir.
I would love it.
Excellent.
I would love it. Dogman is. I haven't done really a lot of episodes devoted to Dogman. I think I've done like one, but that is one of my favorite topics to talk about is Dogman. And I think I may one day just have to reach out to you and come up here and you take me on a Dogman expedition in the LBL.
Absolutely. We've got a group coming up next weekend that reached out to us. And we're going to be helping them out, finding locations and stuff. I'm sure everybody's heard about, the massacre site and the bunkers and this and that.
Yeah.
Well, I've been working at it really hard the last 2 years, and I'm pretty familiar with the place. I'm always willing to learn something new,
Yeah,
and I do
you
every time
should
I
be.
go out.
Yeah, that's great.
But I try to learn from people that have been doing this a long time, keep my mouth shut and listen to what they tell me.
Well, thank you very much for
Yes, sir.
coming and telling me your story. Definitely keep me on the list of promises of podcasts to keep updated.
Yes, sir, will do.
Thank you.
So to me, what makes Mark's story hit a little harder is his investigator mindset. Things like observation, detail, behavior patterns, and stuff like that. He isn't like someone who's just like out there just roaming around pointing at things. He knows, what to look for. He knows how to do an investigation, is what I'm trying to say. And this isn't just someone telling folklore. This is someone documenting a case. That's what elevates Dogman encounters from legend into something worth paying attention to. And unfortunately, it's time for me to take another quick break, so I'll be back with more stories in about 30 seconds.
You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
Welcome back. Next up, we've got a duo, Rachel and Jennifer, also known as the Sinister Sisters, with stories from their paranormal investigations, including one involving a very, let's say, enthusiastic spirit who has a particular fascination with the buttocks. Let's hear this story.
With Rachel and Jennifer from the Sinister Sisters.
Yes.
And I understand that you've got a couple of stories to tell me. I would
yeah.
love to hear.
We got tons of stories.
I'd love to hear one or two of them.
All right. Well,
Your favorites.
You want to go first? You know what? One of my favorites is the one from Brushy.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
you're gonna make me tell that
Yeah,
story
I'm gonna make you
first?
tell that story.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I
On my
think it's
bucket
so
list,
funny.
Brushy Mountain is on
Brushy
my
Mountain
bucket
State
list.
Penitentiary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we went there what was it, about last year? Something like that. And we went with a couple other groups, but split apart and kind of did our own thing. And one of the locations at the penitentiary is a place they call The Hole.
The Hole, okay.
The Hole, yeah. And so it's where they put, prisoners who, misbehaved, or
Right.
it was kind of like solitary confinement, but worse than that. Like it literally, we went into this building. It was, you go down these stairs, and in the back there's like 3 or 4 cells in there. And it's dark, it's dusty, it's dank, it's damp, it's nasty.
It's a creepy place. It's creepy. It's just I did not want anything to do with it.
So Jen didn't want to go in there. She was like, I'm not going in. But there were 3 other investigators that went into the cell, one each cell, and then I was standing outside with the cameraman who was filming them. And I was standing behind him, and then behind me was nobody. Jen was the closest thing back there. And so, as I'm listening to them, like, ask questions, talk about, like, try to get communication going with the spirits, all of a sudden I feel like something grab right on my, like, the upper hip to, like, butt area. And so then I was like, I came out of there, I was like, no. I was like,
nope. Red hair flying out of that hole. And I was like,
I didn't run, but I was like, nope, I did not give you permission to touch me there.
Yeah.
Not cool.
A little handsy going on there.
I said, what happened? She said, something touched me on the butt. I said, so you got touched on the butt in the hole, but not the butthole.
And that's our funny story.
That's our running joke.
I'm like, thank you.
That's a good story.
Yep.
Yeah.
But now we have to do Jen's. Of Jen's favorite stories.
Let's see. Like, probably my first experience.
Yeah, I would say Old Stone.
Yeah, Old Stone. So there's a place called Old Stone Jail in Franklin, Kentucky. And it's a really cool location if you ever get to go. It's 2 separate buildings. One is the jail, and then across the street it used to be a old car parts manufacturing building, I think. But they've turned it into a museum. And we were on the 2nd floor. And I'm thinking I had so many experiences that night that I'm not thinking of the one that literally scared the bejesus out of me. The one that scared the bejesus out of me was in the jail. The residence. Yeah. So we were in the residence building. Everybody was in a circle on the floor, and I was in a chair up against a cabinet. And everybody was trying to, talk, communicate, get some type of, interaction and asking questions. And in response to these questions, we were hearing a tap on glass. And it was like, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, where's that coming from? And I'm just sitting there. It was coming from behind me, but I wasn't going to let anybody know that because I was absolutely terrified. And I was like, if I acknowledge this, it's really happening. So we're not going there. And I just sat quiet. And they're like, they asked again, and it was another and they're like, Jen, that's got to be coming from behind you. Is that coming from behind you? I'm like, yes. And they're like, oh my gosh. They're like, let's do it again. And I'm like, no. And it just kept going. And after that, I was like, I'm done. This is too freaky. Like, I cannot do this anymore. I tap out. So that was it for me. That was just the craziest, first paranormal experience I ever had. And it's something that we just love to joke about to this day.
Well, obviously, it didn't have a negative effect on you because
look,
here you are.
It did not. So I did.
You took a break.
I took a break. I went outside. I composed myself and said a couple Hail Marys.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, guys, let's do this. Let's go back in and find out why this happened. So
it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah, it is.
Ride.
It's like a roller coaster.
Did it sound like the tapping could have been like Morse code or something? Did you think about that?
It could have been what?
Morse code?
I don't know. See, I think I was just in shock that it was even happening and trying to ignore it. So my brain didn't even think to go there. So, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good place.
Yeah, it was a good place.
We should tell the other one about that was there that night, in the
other building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good story too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we just couldn't.
Well, you're here and you're already talking kind of about it, so you might as well just finish the trilogy.
It was the same night, and that's why I think that my I was already on edge from, my first experience, but we were in the museum part of the building doing the investigation, and out of nowhere we heard music, like from an old music box, that you would open up, and it's kind of that really dainty music. And
With a little
looked
figure
up,
dancing around, the little ballerina. Yeah.
And I look up and I look at Rachel, and she's like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "Yes, you heard it?" She's like, "Yeah." And then there were 2 other people doing the investigation with us, Justin and Greg. They've actually become really good friends of ours now at this point. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we heard that too."
Yeah.
So then, of course, we always want to try to debunk whatever we
Of course,
think,
yeah.
So we try figuring it out, walking around, and couldn't hear anything, couldn't figure it out. And then we hear it again, but from the opposite end of the building, and we
It was
all
like it
heard
was
it at the
playing
same
with us,
time.
yeah.
Yes, and so we had something called the Spirit Talker going at the same time, and we still couldn't figure out where this music was coming from. And when it was time to transition to the next part of the building, I was like, man, like I really wish that we could have figured out where that music was coming from. And the Spirit Talker, like in direct response, real time, said, "From the box."
Oh.
And I was like, what?
Wow.
The box we cannot find. Yeah. Like, what'd you do with the box?
Where is the box?
Where's the box?
Where's
We
the
cannot
box?
find the box. But even Justin, he's like, "Girl, you got a real time answer."
Wow.
But
Those are pretty cool stories.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you for sharing those with me. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes.
So that just goes to show that not all hauntings are dark and terrifying. Some are just weird. And honestly, that's one of the things that makes the paranormal so fascinating. Spirits still have the personality that they had in life. Just because you die doesn't mean you're going to change who you were in death, right? So spirits still maintain the personalities they had when they were living. And they don't all lose their sense of humor or their preference, for lack of a better word. And as far as I'm concerned, my personal preference, I'll have to say, I like big butts, and I cannot lie. You other fellas might deny. Okay, before I digress any further, up next is Tommy, who was given a copy of the Keys of Solomon. That's a well-known demonic grimoire. And one night, he and some of his friends decided to call out one of the names in the book. And as you're going to hear, that was not a good idea. So here's Tommy's story.
All right, I have Tommy sitting right here in front of me. Tommy, thank you for appearing on the podcast and telling me your story here at the West Kentucky Paranormal Expo.
You're welcome.
Yeah, what's your story, man?
Okay, to fully understand this story, when I was in middle school, I was thinking of going into the priesthood in the Catholic Church.
Okay.
Because I was in Catholic school all the way through elementary school and middle school. And my father died when I was 14 years old. And that kind of set me in a different direction, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I did a total 180.
180, yeah.
Yes, and I started looking into spirituality. I started looking into anything having to do with heaven, hell, demons, angels, anything like that. And I started online, which I probably shouldn't have done because there's not a lot of good information out there.
Yeah.
But I ran into a friend who gave me a copy of the Keys of Solomon, which is a demonic grimoire.
Yes.
Yes. And another friend of mine said, do not take this thing into your house because it is dangerous. These are dark forces that you're looking at. Well, at that point I was like, I'm going to throw caution to the wind.
I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm doing it anyway. And so I had a copy. It was a printed copy, and I would keep it in my closet. I had it in my closet for years until I moved away, but I could feel a dark energy coming off of this. It was not a hardback or a paperback book. It was just a printed copy. And of course, there's a lot of different information in this book, and I would peruse it whenever I felt ready to look through it. And at one point, there are names in this book of beings that you're not supposed to pronounce. And I had some friends over, and we said, we're going to try to do a seance with this book.
Yeah.
Well, I call it a book. So we pulled out a name from this book, which I will not say here because I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
And we all got into a circle, we lit a candle, and we all held hands, and we said the name, and we invoked it to come into this room. And we were like, okay, nothing's happened. You know, we were a little bit disappointed, but you know how that happens with young people, you know. So then we heard this loud noise, and we're in the middle of nowhere where there's no people, no animals around. We heard this bump. We extinguished the candle. We said, okay, we're leaving. We left the room. We never came back in the room for the rest of that evening or even the next morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you don't know, you didn't see anything or nothing happened after that?
Well, a friend of mine was talking about shadow people and other paranormal things, and I have felt presences in that house, which I don't live there anymore. As a matter of fact,
That's probably a good thing.
It's demolished now, you know, but I did feel some strange presences in that house after we did that ritual, which I've learned my lesson. I'm never doing that again. I never did that again.
Yeah,
So,
I don't blame you. Yeah.
And that's pretty much my whole story.
Well, thank you for that. That's an interesting story.
Yes.
Not advisable.
No, it isn't.
To say that. And did you do anything like afterwards to maybe try to close the portal or anything like that? Did you think to do anything like that?
No, we were so frightened that
Yeah.
we actually made a pact like you hear people do. We're never going to talk
Never
about
talking
this
about this,
again.
yeah.
No. So,
But the place is demolished now.
yes, it is.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you for telling me that story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
This is why I always say, don't call something if you don't know what you're calling. Don't mess around with stuff that you don't know what you're doing. When you speak a name, you're not just saying a word. You're issuing an invitation. And the thing that answers, well, you don't get to choose that. Now we're going to talk with Leslie, who has an ability to attract spirits and other entities. Now, this isn't a gift she asked for, and it's not always something she's comfortable with. So let's hear her story.
Okay, next up I have Leslie here at the West Kentucky Paranormal Expo. Leslie, I understand that you kind of attract ghosts and spirits to you and stuff like that, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
And you got a good story for me?
Yep.
Okay, it's a shadow person story, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to hear this because you kind of talked to me a little bit about this earlier, and I found it very interesting. So tell us your shadow person story.
I was at a friend's house and I seen this thing. It looked just like a person as if it was only a shadow. And it was across the street from where I was. And they still have the trailer court I was at. But that trailer's not there anymore. But anyway, I started watching it, and when you watch something like that, they wind up wanting to know you a little bit better. So they track you, and
Really?
they go with you. Yeah,
So they follow you wherever you go?
yeah.
Like
And
all the time?
Until you get rid of it. Yeah.
How do you get rid of it?
There's spells and there's prayers that you can do. Some of them work, some of them don't.
Do we just have to just go through the progression till you find one that works? Or?
I went through 3 spells and none of them worked. I went through a prayer and it worked. But in the meantime, before I found the remedy, I was very drained and didn't feel right. And my sister was wearing a crystal around her neck, and it kept zapping her every time I came by.
Like an electrical shock type deal?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Wow.
So she could tell it was LV2, so.
And how did you find the spells and the charms and stuff? Because you said sometimes they work and sometimes they. I mean, how did you find all of this stuff?
My sister taught me a lot of things. She's a green witch, and I wound up being a green witch also because of it. And so I look up spells and prayers, and when things come about, I try it.
Okay.
And so it's just trial and error type thing.
So everything is good now, though.
Yeah.
No, nothing's attacking you or anything
No.
like that. Did you have any like physical harm caused to you by this?
Just drainage.
Just like all the energy's gone from you.
Yeah, I felt like I was just completely drained.
But nothing like no scratches or you didn't get
No.
bit or punched or anything like
I
that.
got rid of it before then.
Good. Way to go. Well, that's a great story. Thank you for telling me your story and being on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Now, some people may think that having a sensitivity to spirits is cool, but the reality is it can also be exhausting, invasive, and sometimes just downright frightening. When the veil doesn't close for you, you don't get to rest, right? Okay, I'll be right back with the final story from the West Kentucky Paranormal Expo right after this.
Once upon a mundane morning, Barb's day got busy without warning. A realtor in need of an open house sign. No, 50 of them, and designed before 9.
My head hurts.
Any mighty tools to help with this plight?
Aha!
Barb made her move. She opened Canva and got in the groove.
Bulk creating Canva sheets. Create 50 signs fit for suburban streets.
Done in a click, all complete.
Sweet!
Now, imagine what your dreams can become when you put imagination to work at canva.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, finally, we're closing it out with my good friend Billy from Night Vision Paranormal, someone I first met at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Festival, and he's back with some new investigations, some new encounters, and new evidence. So here's Billy.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Dude, I'm having a lot of fun today. I'm hot, though.
It's always fun when you can get out and do something other than real work, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we first met in May back in
Townsend,
Townsend
Tennessee
at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Festival.
Yep.
Yeah, what'd you think about? Was that your first time going?
It was our first time there, first time to kind of venture that far away.
Yeah.
And it was a good experience. We had a good time, something different.
That's always a good festival.
We try to venture out a little bit as much as we can, but life happens, and that's the good thing about this one. It's local for us, so we didn't have to travel but just a few minutes.
That's good. Yeah, Townsend wasn't local for me, and neither was this one, man.
Yeah, hotel bills pile up, and food and everything else. I get to sleep in my own bed tonight.
That's nice. Yeah. Oh, I'm heading back home after this. It may take me a while to get there, but I'm sleeping in my own bed tonight.
That.
So when we met in Townsend, you told me a couple of good stories. One of them was about Waverly Hills.
Right.
And I want to hear some more of your good stories, because you've been doing this for a little bit, and you've been doing a lot of stuff.
We've been an active group for about 8-9 years. We started in 2017. As we were talking to you earlier, in 2027 it'll officially be our 10-year anniversary. We're going to go where it all started, which was Waverly Hills. Earlier in the Q&A session, they kind of said, how do you get started? I was like, we just jumped right in and went and did the hardest place that you could do on our first trip. But, I tell everybody I've been to some of the most world-renowned places you can go to that's on TV, things like that. But the most haunted location that I've ever been to was a personal residence right here in West Kentucky. Now, for safety reasons, I can't tell you exactly where it was. Yeah. The person actually doesn't own the residence any longer. But a friend of mine was in the market for a new home, and he had went once before with the real estate agent, him and his family, to kind of look around.
Yeah.
Went downstairs and just kind of had an off feeling about the downstairs. Well,
that's not good.
They went out and looked at other places that were potential places to buy on their list, and went back for a second visit to this location, and again went down to the basement and got an eerie feeling. They got to snooping around with the real estate agent and found an urn that had ashes in it from the previous owner's daughter that had passed away.
What? Like the full, like whole
100%
body in there
with a name on it.
How do you move out and leave your?
Well, to my
That's
understanding, the lady was elderly, and she had maybe been put into like an assisted living type of situation. And when the moving out happened, I don't think she had a lot of local family, and somehow this just got forgotten in the back of a closet. So
that's sad.
They got to snooping around, found this urn. They wound up giving it back to the family. But he told me, he's like, every time I go down this basement, even after the urn was gone, they wound up buying the house and just kept getting a creepy feeling, especially during the remodel and things like that.
Remodel. You know what happens when you do that.
He invited us while they were not living in the home yet to come, and they had tore out some walls and moved some things around and was doing painting and all the things you do when you buy a new home. And he invited us out, and he asked us to hang out with us, and that was fine. He had actually went to another place with us once before, and we were cool with that. And it was just an active night from start to finish. If you know what the torch method is, you put 2 flashlights out. For those that don't know, you kind of tweak them to where they're a little bit easier, the mag light heads on the end. We had an hour and a half on demand, yes, no, Q&A with something.
Wow.
And I know there's a lot of discussion about the torch method and things like that, but we couldn't deny the back and forth for an hour and a half. And when the session was over, we were kind of set up. It was a basement area, and there was kind of like 3 corners to the room, if that makes sense, because it rounded a bend up to the stairs, so it kind of made it like a non-4 corner room, if that makes sense. And there was one of us in each corner, and the first person kind of said, "Hey, did you feel that?" And you know how it feels when somebody walks past you. We all kind of felt it in succession.
Ooh, like it was just
the hour and a half session was over.
Wow.
So we went back. We had some good EVPs from that visit. There was a name. The person in the urn's name was Jonah. And I kept wanting to say Jonah like in the Bible. I was corrected and told that I was saying the name incorrectly by EVP.
Wow.
And we had a couple other things, EVP-wise, stuff like that. Well, long story short, they move into the house and so forth and continue to have things happen. So they invite us back after they had moved into the house. This time they left. We had free run to the house. My father-in-law, Mark, that you met earlier, he joined us on this one. He did not come to the first one because, like I said, it was a friend. He had just kind of invited me and Jill, whatever. It was kind of he kind of wanted to be there, top deal, and knew us, didn't know my father-in-law's situation. So we invited him to join us. We were sitting there, and it had kind of been hit and miss most of the night. Nothing like what we had the time before with the hour and a half torch session or anything like that. But we had some things, and of course, obviously with EVPs, sometimes you don't know what you capture until you go back and review the evidence.
Yeah, exactly. You got to
and we captured some EVPs on that trip as well. We had never gotten anything upstairs, like ever. Everything was secluded to the basement, which made sense because that's where the urn was found.
Yeah.
Things like that. We kind of drew stories that maybe the daughter lived in the basement at some point in time, was tied to that area. I mean, fill in the blank, right? We was able to research and get a name and kind of a rough age of when she died and tie the story together. And I told Mark and Jill, I said, why don't we kind of divide and conquer? The house wasn't really big enough for us to investigate both floors at the same time because of contamination. I said, I'm just going to take a chair. I'm just going to sit upstairs by myself in the dark. I'll run a recorder, but I'm not really going to do an EVP session. Y'all just keep investigating down here.
And you're just going to sit down there and chill.
I just want to see if I get any type of
that's a good idea.
Feeling, any type of noises, are they house noises, creaks, cracks, whatever. Just kind of fill out the upstairs because, like I said, every time we'd ever tried to do anything up there, we'd always came up empty. The basement was a smorgasbord, So I'm sitting up there, and Mark and Jill are sitting in the basement. And unbeknownst to me, Mark says something like, "Hey, that's my son-in-law upstairs. Mess with him, do whatever."
Oh no.
Well, obviously I don't know that this is happening because he said it quietly.
Yeah, you're just
and
up there
I am
chilling.
upstairs,
Yeah.
he's downstairs,
Yeah.
right? He wasn't yelling it. And about that time, I get touched. It felt like a flick on the ear. I can still touch the place. It's still just as cold today as it was when it touched me.
Wow.
It had almost the whish of wind sound to it, like something, you know. And I stood up and probably had a few additional words to the vocabulary, gathered my composure, and said, okay, let's rule this out. Is there a spider that fell from the ceiling? So I turned my flashlights on. I'm looking. No spider webs, no spiders, no bugs in the room. I was in the middle of the floor. There was no walls or anything that could have touched me. I'm looking. Can't rule anything out. You know, can't rule anything in either. You know.
Yeah.
So I go downstairs, and they're giggling because they had heard my vocabulary lesson upstairs, and they kind of looked at me and was like, what was all the commotion, you know? And I was like, if I didn't know any better, I would swear I was just touched. And my father-in-law says, right before you started the commotion up there, I said, hey, you know. So we were able to kind of timestamp that back to prove. It was very
That's
weird.
pretty,
Like I said, it's a feeling that I can't describe because I don't know what it's like. I can't describe being touched by something that ain't there.
Yeah. How would you go about describing it?
It was cold. I don't know. It was like something touched me. You know, like back in the old days, they used to flick you on the ear. You know, something was trying to get my attention.
Yeah.
You know. And maybe since I kept pronouncing the name wrong, maybe I deserved
That's
it.
it.
You know? I don't know. But, you know, that would definitely rank up there in experiences. You know, obviously the weird smell at Waverly ranks up there.
Yeah.
My first ever experience, you know, that's what started Night Vision Paranormal. Even though we've only been a group for about 10 years, my first experience came about 20 years ago, give or take. And I saw a family member of mine that had passed just before, and ever since then I had to know more. And little by little, we're digging in to try to figure out more.
Well, those are some great stories. And speaking of Night Vision Paranormal, tell everybody about Night Vision Paranormal, like what it is, what you guys do, how we can find you.
Sure. So Night Vision Paranormal, we're based here out of West Kentucky. We consist of mostly myself, Billy, my wife Jill, and my father-in-law Mark. My oldest son, which is 20, Skylar, joins us on as many events as he can. Of course, until he turned 20, we didn't feel comfortable taking him to some places. Now that he is 20, he has a job in college and other things that keeps him away.
Yeah.
Like today, we kind of call ourselves the Core Four, if that makes sense. We have other family members and things like that join us from time to time, but we're basically the group. Of course, a lot of behind-the-scenes people too, babysitters, things like that allow us to be at events like this as well. That's right. And we're based here out of West Kentucky. We're out of Marshall County, Livingston, McCracken, over in that area is kind of where we hail from. We've been around since 2017, and we do a little bit of everything: ghosts, cryptids, aliens. If it's paranormal, we'll do it. If it's weird, we'll do it. I saw your sign even earlier. I was like, we could have a whole podcast on conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah.
My family tells me I'm a conspiracy theorist. I tell them I told you so.
Yep. I'm right there with you, brother.
Every time something happens, my dad would be like, "What were you just talking about that the other day?" He's like,
told you so. How can we find Night Vision Paranormal?
So our biggest thing is Facebook, Night Vision Paranormal on Facebook. We do have a TikTok, but we haven't really hit that very hard. Message us through Facebook. That's the best way to reach us if somebody needs help or something with a paranormal claim. We do a pretty good presence on that, and then it also gives you information on where we're going to be next. We're here, obviously, today, and next weekend we'll be in Harrisburg, Illinois, for the Sasquatch Festival up there. We've got some pretty cool investigation stuff. coming up as well that we'll be breaking pretty soon. And one event that we got coming up that I'm probably the most proud of, our local library at Marshall County, where we're from, reached out to us a couple weeks ago about they have like a youth night every so often. And because of Halloween and things like that, they have asked us to come and introduce the youth of Marshall County, what a REM pod is, what an EVP recording is.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're going to let us do like a little miniature ghost hunt.
Good deal, man. That's going to be fun.
Make everybody feel like they've been on TV or something. So that's pretty cool. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be on October 11th. So
cool. Well, all right. Night Vision Paranormal. Check them out on Facebook.
Yeah, check us out there.
I appreciate it, brother.
All right, man. Thank you.
You know, Billy has that rare mix of curiosity and discipline. He doesn't just chase the paranormal, he tries to understand it. And that's what keeps this field moving forward, is people like him. And that brings us to the end of part 2 and the conclusion of this special 2-part series featuring the stories that I gathered from the Tennessee Wildman and Cryptid Con and the West Kentucky Paranormal Expo. Now, before I go, I'd like to take a second to remind you about the official Parareality Patreon page. For as little as $1 a month, you can get commercial-free episodes and other bonus content. And for just a few bucks more, you'll also have access to my companion podcast, Midnight Syndicate and Beyond Reality. Plus, you'll also have the opportunity to appear as a guest on the podcast. Now, subscribing to my Patreon not only helps support the podcast and helps me continue to bring you high-quality content on a regular basis, but it also goes a long way towards helping me keep this thing going. I don't earn any money off of this. Everything that I make from Patreon and from merch gets pumped right back into the podcast. So I don't bring home a dime. I just want to put this podcast in as many ears as I possibly can. Now, if you're not a joiner, if you're like, oh, I don't really want to join anything, don't worry. There's a 7-day free trial, and you can sign up for 7 days. It won't cost you a dime, and you can listen and download all that content that you can get for 7 days. To learn more or to join, just go to patreon.com/parareality, or you can go to my website, parareality.com, and click on the Patreon page. Hey guys, I'd love to hear from you. Do you have a story, a question, or a topic you'd like me to cover? Well, you can reach me directly by email at sandman@parareality.com, or for a more personal touch, call the Secret Bunker at 615-492-4364 and leave a message. Just know that by calling, you're giving me permission to feature your voice on the podcast. That number to call once again is 615-492-4364. You want to stay up to date with all things Parareality? You can follow me on all the major social platforms. I'm at sandman.parareality on Facebook, and you can find me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok by searching for @ParaRealRadio. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Parareality1. That's Parareality with the number 1 behind it. And don't forget to visit my website, parareality.com. It's where you'll find an archive of all past episodes for free, along with the latest paranormal news from all around the world under the Para News section, and that's updated almost daily. Your support means everything, whether you choose to grab some gear from my store or simply leave me a positive review. A 3-star or higher review on your podcast app of choice goes a long way in helping this podcast reach new listeners, and I truly appreciate it. All right, well, tonight we heard tales of the unseen calling out from the other side, voices that slip through Bluetooth speakers, and maybe even into the minds of those willing to listen. We heard about ghostly soldiers from a war that's been long over, still marching, still guarding, still present. We heard about demonic forces that scare the heck out of you. We heard from paranormal investigators who spend their nights in abandoned houses, forgotten hospitals, and empty fields because they've seen enough to know that something else is out there. And we heard about dogman encounters, those shadowed figures just beyond the tree line where the world turns wild again. Different stories, different people, but they all circle the same truth, that the world is much stranger than most of us allow ourselves to believe. Whether these experiences are supernatural, psychological, multidimensional, spiritual, or something we don't have a name for, each one reminds us that there are thresholds, places where reality wears thin and something else pushes through. Para-reality. Some people turn away from that, but not the people we heard from tonight, and not the people listening to this podcast. So what you do with these stories, whether you believe them or have questions about them or carry them with you, that part, well, that's up to you. But I want you to remember this. Sometimes the truth doesn't need proof. Sometimes the truth is what haunts us. I want to thank everyone who shared their experiences with me and with you, the listener. And speaking of you, thank you for listening and for continuing to explore the unknown with me. Because the only way to find answers is to keep asking the questions. Everyone, I hope that this podcast opens up your mind to new ways of thinking, expands your consciousness, and produces a change in the way you see the world. If you wish to change, you must lift the veil of ignorance that's been cast over your eyes. Only then will you see the true power of the universe. I hope that you have a wonderful evening, a great weekend, a great couple of weeks off, and I'm going to see you on Friday, November the 21st at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time for the Season 19 finale of Para-Reality. That's right, one more show to go for Season 19, and then I take a break for a little while. So until next time, turn on, tune in, and find out. I'm Sandman, and this has been Para-Reality. Good night, everybody.
If you wish to change, you must first lift the veil of ignorance that has been cast over your eyes. Only then will you see the true power of the universe.
Hey, it's not over. Thanks for sticking around. I got something to tell you. Do you want to be a member of the Secret Sanctum? Well, if you do, there's only one way to do that. Somewhere on parareality.com is a link hidden in my website. And if you can find that link and click on it, you'll be granted access to the secret bunker, and you'll become a member of the Secret Sanctum. It's 100% free. It's not going to cost you anything. And once you become a member, you'll have access to some secret audio files and secret documents, some of which are exclusive only to Para-Reality and the members of the Secret Sanctum. You'll also get a free Para-Reality Secret Sanctum t-shirt. Just fill out the form and let me know what size you are, where you're located in your name, and I'll get that right out to you. So if you want to be a member of the Para-Reality Secret Sanctum and have access to the secret bunker. Find the link.
Is the pressure of your wedding day being perfect from sunrise to sunset weighing on your mind? Planning a wedding can be stressful, but it shouldn't be, and that's why we're here to help. On the Bridechilla podcast, we celebrate love and help you plan your wedding day. We're all about keeping it real and having fun every step of the way. So whether you're just starting to plan or counting down the days, we're here to help you stay cool, calm, and collected. We have expert tips and amazing guests. Let's get this party started and embrace your inner Bridechilla. Listen to Bridechilla wherever you get your podcasts or visit us at thebridechilla.com.